Welcome. In this video, I am going to demonstrate how to model analyzing the setting by looking closely at imagery in a short piece of fictional work. I'm using Ray Bradbury's There Will Come Soft Rains. So this particular model is going to be in preparation for a writing workshop in which students create their own dystopic setting to use in a creative writing piece. But you can use this type of model for any literary analysis, really. So before we jump into this, you might want to do a read aloud with your students of this short story so that they get the context and see the big picture. That way, when you go back through and closely read these particular passages, it makes a lot more sense how to zone in on these particular details in terms of how it relates to the author's overall message or the bigger picture of the story. So let's jump right in. So what we're doing today is carefully looking at the setting of the story, looking at the imagery, the words that the author chooses, and what that does for the reader. So when we look at setting, we're thinking about time, place, the duration of the story, and maybe a little bit about the mood. So we know this story takes place over the course of one day. So let's jump in here at 10 o'clock. So the sun came out from behind the rain. All right, a little bit about the setting, what's taking place. The house stood alone in a city of rubble and ashes. This was the one house left standing. All right, so I'm going to highlight this. So we're getting a picture of the setting of this story, but this is a little repetitive here. So the house stood alone, one house left standing. So let's make an annotation here. Why? So at night, the ruined city gave off a radioactive glow, which could be seen for miles. 10:15. The garden sprinklers whirled up in golden founts, filling the soft morning air with scatterings of brightness. All right, we've got golden founts, so we're talking about the house now, filling the soft morning air, some sensory imagery with scatterings of brightness. All right, this description of light is a lot different than the city's description of light. So let's make an annotation here. So the house is soft, maybe even a little angelic. But the surrounding world is charred, ashes, much different. All right, let's continue. The water pelted window panes running down the charred west side where the house had been burned evenly free of its white paint. All right, so this picture of the setting is being painted in our minds. The entire west face of the house was black, save for 5 places. Here, the silhouette and paint of a man mowing a lawn. Here, as in a photograph, a woman bent to pick flowers. Still farther over, their images burned on wood in one titanic instant. A small boy, hands flung into the air. Higher up, the image of a thrown ball, and opposite him a girl, hands raised to catch a ball which never came down. The 5 spots of paint, the man, the woman, the children, the ball, remained. The rest was a thin, charcoaled layer. The gentle sprinkler rain filled the garden with falling light. Okay, so here that contrast between the devastated city and the soft angelic house is really apparent. Bradbury seems to kind of go back and forth between these two pieces of the setting. So I think that's important to note. So let's make an annotation here. So the house is serene, bright, warm, and the world around it is post-atomic. A bomb went off. You could tell because one titanic instant took sort of a photograph, a charred photograph of the family. Post-atomic Charred, devastated. Okay, so why did Bradbury include this juxtaposition? Why these two images next to each other? So what does this do for us as readers? How does this paint a picture in our mind of what's going on? Some of these questions might be answered later in the story. So let's continue to read, look carefully at some passages that pop to us, and think about the setting and how Bradbury develops it through his words. Thanks for watching.